I consider myself as a Vajrayana practitioner, and a lot of that has to do with culture, maybe, because I was born and groomed by culture or country or a culture or a family that has Vajrayana just Vajrayana phenomena. That may be a good thing in one way. Some people will consider this as a fortunate thing. But it could also be it could also be a veil, some sort of obstruction in the real path. Sometimes I think of this. I grew up looking at, pictures and statues of all kind. Very serene, saintly looking Shakyamuni Buddha, and wrathful skull garland, deities, female and male deities in union, images of figures that has buffalo head, elephant head, many times all together, those devilish looking figures and holy looking question is raised in my head. I don't know whether it's a good thing or not a good thing from the actual Vajrayana point of view. Sometimes I think it's good, other times I feel that maybe all this may have distanced myself from actually appreciating the tantric wisdom, that the culture ended up hijacking me. But I also grow up in a culture and a tradition that cherishes reasoning, and that actually quite vigorously, I would say at least 10 to 15 years of my time was spent studying Buddhist logic, critical thinking, analytical thinking, where you analyze so much so that you deconstruct everything, including the Buddha and the Dharma. the Sangha, everything that we venerate. Just as how Buddha himself advised us to do so, he encouraged us to analyze, never to take things at face value. And I have to say, this I have done. Also, in the as I grow up, I have discovered that this kind of appreciation of reasoning and logic and analytical thinking is not only within the Indian or Tibetan tradition, but very much so in the West. So I grow up really getting excited and really appreciating what do you call it? Renaissance or age of reasoning, romantics. Is it romantics? Age of reasoning? Yeah. I also, I guess you can say from a Dharma point of view, from the Vajrayana point of view, I would go to, during the summertime, I would go to Buddhist college to deconstruct everything, basically. Analyze everything. And then during the winter break, when I was growing up, there was, all my family people. Usually, my family from both sides, they're yogis, Mahamudra and Mahasandhi sort of lineage. And lot of insinuation from both sides that how much I'm wasting my time analyzing things, deconstructing things, how I'm wasting my life doubting everything, how I am so deprived with things like pure perception, devotion, Looking back, I think it's very fortunate that I have that. But, growing up, it was so much confusion. Winter, there's all that calling the Guru, the Telopa, the Naropa, the, Longchenpa, Guru Rinpoche, Yeshitsogi, all this mind-boggling stuff when Guru Rinpoche went to Tibet. The mountains even, bowed down, and then the things moved, and then there were all these miracles. And during the summertime, there were all these campos, like deconstructing everything. But anyway, after now 50 years going this and that, I think I can say I have an appreciation, veneration. I don't want to, I think it is too arrogant for me to claim that I practice Vajrayana. That is too arrogant. But I think I can sort of say that I aspire, I wish I practice Buddha Dharma in general and especially Vajrayana. Not all the time, by the way. Time to time, when I'm sober, so to speak. because, I really get very thrilled and very excited and convinced. I like the ideas like poison is medicine. I just like that. It excites me. I like when I hear things like, profane is sacred. Sacred, right? And I like things like when I hear things like that this emotion that I have, this emotion very is wisdom. I like that. Yeah, of course, just intellectual level, but this is the year 2021. Having this kind of statement alive, that's good. That's amazing. And not only these are just a statement. Poison is medicine, emotion is wisdom, profane is sacred. Not only these are just a statement, by the way, if the translators are having a hard time, I can slow down a little bit. So if someone can send a message. Not only there's that kind of statement, that kind of philosophy or a science, if you like, but there's actual technique, there's actual path that is there that you can actually apply these techniques. What do you call it? Empiricism, right? Empiricism. We like to have that, isn't it? Empirical. And that's very much so with this wisdom of profane is sacred and poison is medicine and so on and so forth. This is something that is empirical. This is something that you can actually experience. You can actually find out whether you are this emotion. It doesn't matter what kind of emotion. It can be very melancholic, sentimental, or it can be very destructive even, or very dull and depressing. But it is possible now to experience that there are actually wisdom. This is not just a statement. I know it is difficult to sort of accept it, but that's just because, we are not giving this a chance. And if you really give the chance, it is possible. It's not a myth. It's not a story. And this kind of practice, this kind of tradition and know-how has been there for 2,000 years. It's not just like recently discovered somewhere in the South Beach when someone got excited looking at a sunset. This is very much, tested. interesting people, scholars and kings, queens, some of the greatest leaders in the world. Genghis Khan, right? Actually, this should tell us something. Genghis Khan. Oh, people. If I say this, people will think he wasn't really behaving like a Buddhist, has he? This is the question the people would ask. This is an interesting question, actually, because somehow we have put Buddhism into the basket of well-behaving basket. So, yeah, that is an interesting. But maybe later we can discuss this. There were a lot of interesting people. Genghis Khan, he was a Buddhist, but quite an interesting person. And there was King Tizong of Tibet. Yeah, of course, if you ask a Tibetan and especially a Nyingmapas, they will revere him as this great Manjushri incarnate, the compassionate, the all-omnipotent, etc., etc. But history have also said that he was at times like a childlike. Like when he was upset with his ministers, he would eat his shoes and he would roll on the ground and he would beat himself up. But this is also a king who really ruled big time. I think it's important that we sometimes go beyond what do you call it? Stereotyping? Alexander, Napoleon. We always have a stereotype, like big, not moving, kind of the quality of human beings. But anyway, there were many interesting practitioners. Generally, Buddha Dharma and especially Vajrayana, it has been tested and practiced by a lot of people. And I have to say, there were a lot of charlatans too. There were a lot of phony charlatans, people who took advantage of Mahayana, Theravada, Sharvakayana, Vajrayana, all of that. That's sort of what we human beings do. Charlatans makes our life interesting. And there has been a lot of that. There's been a lot of opportunist. And not just because of all these strange, controversial people, but Tantra itself is a controversy. Tantra itself has always been, by the way. Some may think that this Vajrayana Buddhism is becoming a controversial thing now. No, it has always been controversial, right from the beginning. From the time it started, actually. Obviously, someone who, our system that says poison is medicine, what do you expect? That's already asking for trouble, isn't it? Profane is sacred. You're already starting with a controversy here. So Tantra definitely is. Tantra cannot be appreciated by everyone, understandably, not only it cannot be appreciated by everyone. In fact, there were a lot of people who really condemned Tantra, more so in Buddhism. Within the Buddhist, and rightfully so, many times. Tantra has been looked at with with a lot of suspicion, historically. So, if you are looking at the tantric history, Tantra has always been kept. I don't like the word secret, but it was not exhibited, definitely. It was kept, guarded very zealously and carefully. Actually, the reason why Tantra was kept secretly with a lot of determination, it is really out of care and compassion from the people who are stakeholder of Tantra in the past, because not only that we need to save the people from misusing the Tantra, of course, but I think that is a much less, and that is a smaller, thing to worry in a way. But more importantly, if people who are not matured, people who are not ready, even have a slight doubt to this incredible, magical, alchemy, if you like. Even if there's a little bit of a doubt, this will, distance the person from approaching to the Tantra for, according to the Buddhist language, eons after eons. And that is very unfortunate for them. So this is why we always hear this, our masters, like my teacher, Khyentse Rinpoche, one thing he keep on repeating to people like me is like, no matter what you do, try your best so that someone will not have some sort of a suspicion towards the Vajrayana, which will then really keep them distant for many, many, many lifetimes. I will tell you something which may be kind of heavy to hear this. There are people who I don't know whether I should say this, but I will say it mildly. I will water it down a little bit. Okay? There are people who are so afraid to believe in reasoning than falling into the hell realm. Some tantric practitioners, they are more worried about that. They are more worried about becoming sensible than going to hell. We can discuss about this if you are sort of confused what I'm saying. But this is it's an important statement. This is a really, really important statement. But actually this is not only in the Vajrayana, even in the Mahayana. When asked Chandrakirti, to whom should we give Shunyata teaching? He said, he never said, to those Harvard and Yale graduates. This I made it up, but what I'm saying is, not to those who are so smart and so well-read and so reasonable and so educated. He never chose them. Who did he choose? He said, we want you to teach Shunyata to those people who just mentioning the name, the word Shunyata, they have a goosebump. They have tears in their eyes. To these people, you should teach Shunyata. Coming from Chandrakirti, it's quite amazing, because if you read Chandrakirti, he was really a big time reasoning man, Prasangika, Madhyamika, really big time. He was deconstructing everything. But at the end, when asked to whom to teach Shunyata, he said that Shunyata is reserved for those just hearing the name of Shunyata, you feel goosebumps. And if you think about it, it's actually quite it's quite understandable what these statements. I think to be a vessel for teachings like Shunyata, teachings such as Sungjuk, union, right? Union, Sungjuk, the union like a Mahamudra or a Mahasandhi. Just the intelligence, intellect, sort of being smart is not enough. In fact, it's not that important. What you need is, I think the English word is neck, right? Neck. You have to know, neck. You have to have the neck. You have to have the, I don't know, you just have to, I was looking at this word neck, and the English dictionary says, some just have a special neck for getting into trouble. What do you think? This is good. Some people just have that neck. like bent, right? The other way, the bent, hang. You just, is it hang? Also, some just have that neck. And this, if you ask me, is neck. If you ask me what is that, I think the Buddhists would say it's called marriage. That's the best word I can come in English I can come up with. Swanam Punya. And I'm sure many of you know this. Many of you are very, I don't know, for whatever reason you are inspired by half paralyzed, half drunk, at times squeaking person, and you are very inspired. The other people get almost, other people by looking at somebody like Lady Gaga, and when they look at her meat jacket, right? She wears a meat outfit, and they almost come close to sort of orgasmic situation. You just have that neck. You have that neck. This happens. This happens. I think you know what I'm talking about, a neck. Some people have really just so good at real estate. The housing. Some are so good at this. They just know what to buy and when to buy. They're just so... I know one person. And when you meet these kind of people, then of course, no need to keep it secret with this kind of people. If not, then I think keeping it secret is maybe not the right word. Treasure, really, protect it. It's quite important. Secrecy, treasuring it, not to reveal it, just openly. It's kind of important. But Tibetans have been so bad with this. They are. I guess the whole Tibet somehow, one way or another, has this Vajrayana culture. So I guess it was understandable in a place like Tibet or Bhutan, but Tibetans just can't keep things secret. They just itching to talk and exhibit. And this has put Vajrayana into grave danger, especially now. In pre-1959 Tibet, there was no bookshop, where you can also choose books like Kapala. I don't know. There's not much choice. I don't think there was a bookshop. Maybe it's only Buddhist library. Wow, there's just so much on this. So it's actually quite. Sometimes I really think this is the blessing of the Buddhas, that it's really amazing that images such as the Chakra and Vajrayogini. We have this in the Dhamma centers in places like upstate New York, where other people also, come. And wow, what do they think? There's much tolerance, so much. Maybe the Tibetan painting is so abstract, they don't really know what's going on. Maybe. But Tibetans are not so good with keeping it secret. And even me today, coming here, and you all know, most of you all know, I'm a Vajrayana student, right? You know that. That's already not good, actually. Actually, that's already a mistake. And I have myself told you just now, I aspire to practice Vajrayana. I shouldn't have said this. Especially if there are new people. That's how it should be. But no, this is how it is. I told you. Anyway, as I said, I do have aspiration to practice Tantra. I don't want to claim I'm a Tantric practitioner. I'm not saying this out of humility. I'm more like not to, more like a, disclaimer. Yes, I have aspiration to practice the Vajrayana. And not always, okay? Quite a lot of time. I say that I have aspiration to practice Vajrayana, but not always and not 100%. And the reason is, even after all these years, Tantric teachings still surprises me. So which means that there's still a lot of things that I still yet to discover. Even as recent as, in New York. When I was in New York, somebody gave me a volume of Tantric texts. And just that afternoon, since there was nothing much going on, I was reading a few pages. And this text I have read so many times in the past. But just so surprising. There were sentences and phrases that I have read so much, but I'm finding out some new information. So, yes, I do have aspiration, but I think it can really go much more. I still think. This is because Tantric view is vast and deep. And not only that, sometimes Tantric view is too simple. It's so simple that just cannot, cannot accept, dare not accept. Because because habit of this logic, no pain, no gain, is so strong in my head. Just unbelievable when someone says no pain, all gain. That's just not possible. And not only the view, the technique and the skillful means is just infinite. Dare not accept, unfathomable, cannot fit in my small mind. There are many reasons why I dare not accept Tantra. Because no matter how I try, the theistic, right? Theistic residual with me is still. This is actually quite shocking, because I grew up studying Madhyamika and Brahmana and so on and so forth, but must be some past lives thing. The theistic sort of savior, relying on a savior, somebody will fix me. That residual is so strong with me. So Tantra becomes unfathomable sometimes. And not only that, sometimes atheist residual is also there. That atheist residue is also blocking me to understand and appreciate Tantra. It's very complicated. And recently, of course, the temptation to join the, bandwagon? Not bandwagon. Wow, that is strong. Temptation to join the bandwagon? Not a tantric thing to do. What's the expression? If you are not with us, you are with enemy, right? If you are not with us, you are against us. Wow, that is strong. It really shakes me. And when that shakes you, then it makes your tantric capacity shaken. And then of course, I'm also scared of the wrath of goody liberals. This I have to say. Those who are reading my Facebook or whatever, this is sort of my access. I try to upset them, upset the liberals, but this is actually in the psychology, reverse psychology or something. It just means that I'm so afraid of them. I'm trying to, it is very scary. The liberal wrath, really scary. And among other things, I'm talking about how I find myself not a healthy, not strong tantric vessel. I love, I love collecting like pencils. Pencil? I love collecting, bags. Bags. But those that doesn't matter. Pencil bag doesn't matter so much. Worse is I love collecting antidotes. Antidotes. Not good. Tantric people don't like this. My forefathers, Telopas, Naropas, I don't know what they are thinking looking down at me. I love collecting antidotes. I think antidotes are supreme, what you call it, Rinpoche chosen supreme. They are good. I consider them as good. And then also, morality, ethic, considering them as wholesome. But these are all human, this is how human mind works. This is how human mind functions. Human mind is complicated. We say we like to think out of box. Not just we say we like to think out of box, but we like to also do things out of box, I guess. But to actually apply that is difficult, because we also want to fit with other people. I told you, joining the bandwagon, so important. Even if you are craving for a cup of nice coffee, if there is some strange, coffee shop, it's difficult to choose that, isn't it? It's much safer to choose Starbucks, because you already know what is there. Latte, grand, small, this you basically know, so you feel safe. This the adventure, full adventure to choose this obscure coffee shop is difficult. So all this basically is destroy is maybe not the right word, but all this is weakening at least the magic, in the Guhya Garbha Tantra, the word is Jumtul Trawa, sort of magical net. Is it magical net? We lose this. What to do? Poison is medicine. That is a magic. Medicine is also poison. That is also a magic. And fact Anyway, there is no such thing as ultimate poison and ultimate medicine. That is also a magic. And I think this then, I don't know, weakens this kind of, what do you call it? Net of Maya, illusion, magic, paradoxy, which is something that is always here, always there, but falling into the trap of poison as a poison only. Medicine is medicine only, then deprive us from actually being able to enjoy the wealth, the infinite, vast, deep wealth of this magic. Anyway, probably magic is already not an acceptable term in this world of, what do you call it, empiricism, science, technology. Anyway, karmic connection. Power of cause and condition. Power of karmic link is so strong that even, what do you call it, miles and miles away from Ganges in Varanasi, or in this case I think probably it's anyway, it doesn't matter, miles away from Ganges. The teachings of the Mahamudra, Mahasandhi, coming to this land and brought here by Jamyang Rinpoche, and a lot of you here, his children, Vajra student, and yes, I have a very mixed feeling towards this place. This is, I don't know whether it's improving, but so much what do you call it, not even thinking about Buddha Dharma in general. There's just so much appreciation and in awe of what Rinpoche have brought here. If you are looking at, I was looking at some of the texts that do you do this Tabokaji lineage chant sometimes? I don't know. For many of you, what do you think? But even the verses like awareness is the body of meditation, as is taught. Whatever arises is fresh. The essence of realization to this meditator who rests simply without altering. Just this message, or this verses, this stanza. Just this stanza having brought here and build a systematic system, I don't know, atmosphere, culture if you like, to really bring this this spirit is maybe not the right word, this wisdom. I don't know, if one can think about these things, it's like mind-boggling that such a teaching is brought here, and not just read over our coffee, talked about it, but actually, a lot of you for years spent time cultivating, engaging with this kind of wisdom and concepts such as Vajrayogini, Chakra Sampara must be so alien. The symbol, language, the whole method but this is still being carried on. And as somebody who's sort of, outside, observing, past maybe 35 years now, and a lot of challenge you have gone through, but still going on. Things like Tamalji Sheva, the word Tamalji Sheva, that is still alive. And there are still people who think that Tamalji Sheva pointing out are important, something to sought after, something to, invest your time and energy. These are blessings from my point of view. And I don't know, I feel very encouraged. You have to remember, it took more than 1,000 years to really establish Buddha Dharma in Tibet. Here, how many years? 200 years? 200? Maybe? And a lot of challenges, of course, because this is precious. The other text I was reading is just incredible. Like the concept of Rigden. I don't know what people who are new to this think about. Rigden is just, I know it's inexpressible, but one profound sub. Sal is what? How do you translate sal? Sub. Sal. Clear? Brilliant. What profound, brilliant, just, and firm. Powerful. Powerful. To this one, Tetsam Mebar Chancellor, never to have any doubt towards this. I was talking to some young people today. I feel very encouraged, and this I want to repeat. I heard that the world of artificial intelligence is coming up more and more. So people are going to have identity crisis because of that. Because, a lot of jobs and professions are going to be taken over by artificial intelligence, which means that who are we? What are we now? What is, because many times we identify ourselves with a job, I guess, or some sort of profession. And then, of course, in the modern day, we alienate ourselves. We have existential angst. It is at that time, if you can just continue a little bit, just few more years, I would say 100 years, I would say. Yeah. If you can just continue, hold these values of Rigden, Sab, Sal, Song, Zen. And then there are subsequent stories about how, some people are scared of this, Rigden, whatever, you understand, you feel sort of scared or doubtful, and then all these cowardly people will arise, something like that. I don't know how you translate it. I'm just reading the Tibetan. And then all sorts of bunch of coward people will arise, and then what do? They go and hide in the cave, in the forest. And in the water, I think. And then they kill their own kins and eat their flesh. This is a letter of Ashe, is it? Letter of Black Ashe. I'm just reading in Tibetan. Really badly I'm translating, so don't laugh at me too much, but it's just incredible. If you can just hold on to this just another 100 years. This is iPhone 12. So when this is in Metropolitan Museum in about 20 years, and when people laugh at this, what a funky, clunky thing that they use. At that time, these words will be the answer to this identity crisis. I need you to say this tonight. This is actually the only thing I wanted to say. All the other things that I've said earlier, just to fill up the sort of the evening. This is what I wanted to say for those who are here. Of course, you will have challenge. Of course. Then, you have to, deal with it and, sometimes be strong, sometimes be very skillful and glide through this. But this needs to be treasured. And I think a lot of people here are doing incredible work preserving this. I offer my rejoice. I know some people are not having enough time to do some other things, but right? Anyway, I won't go through the detail. Okay, so I was told there's a lot of questions. I don't know whether we have enough time to answer all, but maybe some questions